Hi everyone, my name is Vince Aguirre. While I wear a lot of hats in my life, today I'm here as a citizen of Greencastle, interested in getting to know our congressional candidates. Today I have Derrick Holder with me, who's running in our 4th Congressional District for U.S. Congress, and we're going to get to know him a little bit. So, Derrick, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for making the drive up here.
Oh, not a problem.
How far was it?
About an hour.
Okay, not bad.
All back roads.
All back roads. That's the best way to do it.
Love driving through the rural communities
Yeah.
in Indiana.
Yeah.
Getting out of the city. It is a beautiful land that most city dwellers do not get to see.
Mm-hmm. I was raised in Chicago, so coming out here and seeing the back roads, it changed me. It really did.
Yeah, I mean, I was raised on the northeast side of Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And at that time, I lived in Oak Landon,
Okay.
which is just further east of Lawrence.
Okay.
And at that time in the late 90s, it was very much farmland. But if you go there now, it's just Indianapolis exploded through.
Oh, I bet.
I have people saying, oh, you're bougie because you went to Lawrence North High School. No, I was in the country part of Lawrence North. So it just happened to be where we lived.
Right. That's fair.
So-
That's fair. Well, I'm happy you kind of went that direction because I want to know more about you as a person. You know, go back as far as you're willing to go and tell us how you got here today.
I was born St. Vincent's Hospital, 1980, to parents of immigrants. I mean, they raised me with dedication or teaching of dedication for serving others. My dad was in the Navy. My mom worked for the Navy. We did move out to California, lived there for about 10 years. And then when their time was done with the Navy, we moved back here.
Okay.
I've been here ever since, except for when I went into the Marine Corps. So went to Lawrence North High School on the northeast side of Indy, graduated in 98. We were a very poor family, struggled most of the time to keep food on the table, and it was really difficult growing up, but it taught me perseverance. My parents had nothing but love, and at times that's all that mattered to get us through some of the really tough times.
Right.
I wanted to break away from that cycle, so I went into the Marine Corps. Marine Corps taught me the core values of honor, courage, and commitment. Do everything with honor. Have the courage to do things not because they are easy, but because they are hard. And the commitment to finish whatever you begin. After I got injured in the Marines, I was medically retired. I came back home, and then I went to Indiana University, got dual degrees in religious studies and U.S. history. Then I went into the legal field, did paralegal work for about 4 years, and then the 2008 financial crisis hit, the Great Recession hit, and the legal field wasn't recession-proof. So I was the junior paralegal. I got laid off. And then I thought, well, what else is recession-proof? Teaching. So I became a teacher for a couple years, taught at Lawrence North High School, history. Found out I wasn't really a fit for teaching.
It's hard.
Yes, it is a very difficult field, and my heart goes out to all teachers. They are truly the heroes that are fighting daily to educate our youth. And they know how important it is to teach our youth how to be good citizens, good people. Then COVID hit, and that threw everything into craziness. I drove for a medical courier where I was delivering, kind of weird to say, but body parts for everything, and also started to, so I drove across the nation for implants. And then actually got a really good assignment, which I actually started to get to fly. I flew to New York City 3 times a week, delivering the Colts and the Pacers COVID test.
Interesting.
So I racked up a lot of frequent flyer miles on that. And then I landed the job that I'm in now, and that's a paralegal for an agency within child welfare.
Okay.
And then one day saw that, it's 2024, and my wife was getting tired of me complaining about the way that the government was going. And she flat out told me, either run for office or stop complaining about it. And
Here you are.
yeah, here I am.
Interesting. I have to say, so my wife is a 4th grade teacher, and when I first met her, I got my substitute license and taught one kindergarten class one day, and it took me out.
Yeah.
I was never as tired as I was that one day.
Exhausting.
Yeah. So yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
So it sounds like quite a journey of experiences. What specifically are you passionate about? When you're talking with your wife about things that you wish you would change, and she said you just go run. What things are important to you?
The biggest things that, and I've put my campaign on a couple main issues. Everything's important, but my main driving force is Veterans Affairs, the women's rights, especially the rights that are under assault right now, LGBTQIA rights, agriculture, and basic health care for everybody. Those are my big driving forces. One, because agriculture, it's the backbone of Indiana. It is, when you boil everything down to what Indiana is, it's like we talked about at the beginning of this interview. Drive around the country. It's farmland as far as you can see, but that is being overrun by new developments, by warehouses. It's snuffing out the backbone of what Indiana has always been. And that, I believe, is driving out the old Hoosier hospitality. When they removed that from the license plate, everything started to go downhill. And unless there's a big event, that's when you really see Hoosier hospitality still. And we need to bring it back to caring about each other, about our neighbors. And then that leads to the LGBTQIA rights, women's rights, veterans affairs. It's caring about other people. So that's my big driving force, is we need to stop the division that is being so horrible right now. And we need to remember, we are one people. We are all Americans. We want the same things. And we just need to dig our heels in, say, we will not be divided, and we will care about our fellow citizens.
I meant to say this earlier, but thank you for your service. So obviously you're passionate about these issues.
Yes.
As you're going around, it seems like you have a lot of activity on social media. You're going out, you're getting to know people across this very large 4th Congressional District. I was in a prior interview, I mentioned that I'm from Chicago originally, and whenever I drive home, most of my drive is in the 4th District. And Greencastle's pretty centralized in the district. There's still a lot south of us, so it's massive. What are you hearing from people as you're getting out and getting to know people in the district?
What most people are really worried about is, number one, women's health care. That's under assault right now, both national and state level. Another part is the economy, the southern border, China, what's going on with Israel and Gaza. Ukraine and Russia. All of those very large issues. And those are their main issues right now. Doesn't matter if I'm in Jasper County, in Morgan County, or anywhere in between. Those are the big issues. Had an event last week in Delphi, and they said the same thing about economy as was said in Fountain County. So, I mean, it's just showing it's across all 14 counties, plus the little bits of the other counties that encompass the 4th District. It's very much unified what they are worried about. Every one of the counties are big agriculture areas. Even Hendricks County, and especially Hendricks County outside, like the further west you go, it's farmland. It's not the built up as the eastern part of Hendricks or the southern part of Boone. And those are two of the big urban centers because they're pretty much part of Indianapolis now. I mean, like anywhere, urban's going to have different issues than rural. And that's understandable because they have different worries. For the urban areas, it's more crime. And the crime is bleeding out to the fringe areas. And we have to worry about better police action. There was a incident that happened, I believe, in Indianapolis about a Marine Corps veteran who, unfortunately, died due to gun violence. It could have been better handled by having more mental health providers within the police force, better training in it. My heart goes out to all police officers. They do God's work. And 99% of them are great. It's just that 1%. But that's in any industry. Just, you have the rotten eggs that make all the noise. But we have to back the blue. We have to understand they have a very tough job, but we have to get them better training and give them all the tools that they need. There's no reason that an armed response go out to a mental health issue. So when I hear defund the police, I am not seeing as defund the actual police station. I'm hearing spread their funding around a little bit more, bring on more health care or mental health care, more social workers into it. Make it a more robust agency than what it is already. Many cities and states have already started doing that, and it has shown that incarceration has gone down, police-involved shooting has gone down, people are getting the mental health that they need, and that's really good.
Have you been surprised by anything when you're going out and talking to people? Has anyone shared a concern with you that you hadn't even considered or didn't expect a lot of people in the 4th District to be thinking about?
School vouchers. To me, when I think of school vouchers, I think of the cities. Because when my family, my wife and I, lived in downtown Indianapolis in Holy Cross, which has been in the news recently because their church was about to be torn down, but it became a historical site. Thank goodness. Because it was the heart of the district. My wife grew up in Holy Cross. But we used the voucher system to send one of our daughters to Holy Cross Central School to make sure that she didn't have to go to IPS. So for us, the voucher system worked. We were on the lower end of societal, of economy. So it worked for us. It did what it was meant to do. But now, when you go outside of the urban area, people that are making $350,000 a year are using it to supplement their children going to the private school that they were already going to. That is not what the voucher system was meant for. It's not what school choice was meant for. School choice was meant for, say, where we live, our kids go to Indian Creek, which is Nineveh Hensley Jackson School Corporation. But we're right on that border where they could go to Martinsville. And if we wanted them to go to Martinsville, we could just enact our school choice and drive them to Martinsville every day. But Indian Creek's a great school district. There's no reason for us to do that. But if somebody else wanted to use that, they could, and the money would follow the child. Well, we need to stop that aspect. We need to make it where schools, public schools around the state, get equal money. That way you don't have, say, Jasper County schools that may not even have tablets for every student. And where Indian Creek has money for every student to have laptop computers. And they don't even have books. So there's a disconnect between funding for rural and suburban areas. And we need to stop that disconnect. And it really opened my eyes about how the voucher system was being used. I did not think about that. I am not the type of person that I am steadfast and will not change my mind about anything. I am a lifelong learner. And if you bring me evidence of something that I thought was true, I will change my mind. And that's what we need more of, is rather than this bullheadedness, no, this is the way that things are, to, no, that's actually the way it's supposed to be. We need to retrain ourselves to not be as competitive on that and really think about the issues.
Sorry about the delay, although while this is edited, no one's going to know that there was a delay, but we do have all lights plugged in now. We're back in action. Here we go. So you talked about the things that surprised you. One question I really like to ask is, obviously you're hyper-focused right now on winning the primary and then winning the general election. But when you do take a breath and you think about, what happens if I win? What are your thoughts? Do you have any concerns? Anything that makes you nervous, excited? What are you thinking about when you allow yourself to think about that?
If I were to, the miracle would be happen that I would win the general election. Big worries would be on the floor of the House of Representatives, working with my equals. There's a lot of division within it. And just the willingness from the other side to work bipartisan, which we need. We need bipartisanship because we've seen government grind to a halt. And we need to remember, as members of Congress, we are employees of the constituents of our district. We have to throw out our personal issues and represent the people, do the nation's work. The House of Representatives was designed to be the people's house. It was designed to have people from all walks of life be in there and be the voice of their area. And that's not happening right now. People are using it as a stepping stone for higher things. They are using it to get wealthy. And they have to remember that we're employees of the federal government. It's just that working with the other people that may not want to work with you and have to figure out how to get them on board with something that they may not be 100% open to, but if their district wants it, that's what matters, because you're their voice.
So you're saying you really want more of a representative form of government where you may sometimes put your own desires to the side if you hear it from your constituents.
Exactly.
And it's a majority. Yeah.
I mean, that's your job as a representative. It's not you who's, I mean, you're, like I said before, you're speaking for your constituents. And that's the way that it was designed to be. It's not the Senate. The Senate was designed to be the higher class. Up until the 60s, it was picked by the state legislature who was going to be the senators. It wasn't direct election like it is now. And that's why they have 6-year terms and we only have 2-year terms. The House wasn't designed to be a career. And we have people in the House of Representatives that have been there our entire lives. It wasn't designed for that. There needs to be turnover just to get fresh ideas into the House to drive this nation forward rather than keeping it held back. And that's what I believe one of the major issues is the nation is being held back by the old guard. We have to get the newer generations. I'm an exennial. We have a foot in the past and a foot in the future. And it's our time to take over the government. Our time to be elected, to work for the people and push it forward. That's what we've been our entire lives, is that bridge between the older generations and the newer generations. And we need to be that bridge to drive our country into the 21st century.
Right. I find it interesting. I don't know if you've seen this, but I feel like the older generations really want younger people. I feel, when I'm out and talking to people about politics, it's always the retired people who say, we just need the young people to step up and run.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me because you would think they'd kind of want, more mature, experienced people, but they want young ideas. They want fresh ideas. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do.
And that's why in the House, you only have to be 25 to get into the House of Representatives. I mean, that's what it's for, is to have that range of age, of experience. I mean, a 25-year-old's not going to have the same experience as a 44-year-old has, as a 65-year-old has.
They all have different perspectives.
Exactly.
One thing I really enjoy about living in Greencastle is both how much I enjoy Greencastle, but the surrounding areas, and specifically a lot of the 4th Congressional District. What are some hidden gems in our district that you want people to know about as far as like recreation, dining? If people are coming to this part of Indiana, what are some gems that you really enjoy?
A lot of pubs have really good food. In Martinsville, there's Barzique. Great shrimp po' boys. In Lafayette, there's Triple X, which not really a hidden gem, but great food. You have the VFW in Delphi. Great tenderloins. They are huge tenderloins. And I'm not a huge tenderloin person.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a native Hoosier and never really been something about pork and the size of a hubcap.
That's fair. That's
On
fair.
a tiny bun.
Yeah.
It's daunting. I used to be able to polish those, like something that large off.
Yeah.
I can't anymore. Age is bliss. But trying to think of other places. Right outside the 4th District is, like bordering right on it, is the Crowbar in Trafalgar. Great food. Their wings are to die for. Yeah, it's on 252 and 135.
So I get the sense you're a foodie because all your answers have been food.
Exactly. Not a big drinker whatsoever. I have nothing wrong with it. Just I never got into it. When I was younger, but age, stomach issues, all that jazz.
Sure.
But I mean, there's also Prophetstown State Park. There's all the state parks up in Tippecanoe County. I mean, you have the hills of Morgan County. Yes, we have hills in Indiana. They're just south, where the glacier stopped. And of course, you have Monticello, and now that crow's in my head for Indiana Beach. There's a lot.
Yeah. There's a bunch. I'm gonna have to go back and when I'm editing the recording, make sure I take note of going to some of them.
Yeah.
Greencastle's a lot of great restaurants. I'm not going to name any because I don't want to leave anyone out, but you need to check out our restaurants in the DePaul Nature Park. If you haven't had a chance to go out there, it's just west of town.
Okay.
Really good nature park. I think it's a few hundred acres. It's an old quarry that they reclaimed at some point in the past, so highly recommend those two. So what, as we're starting to wrap up, I want to give every candidate an opportunity. If I didn't ask you something that you want to talk about, what did I miss? What would you like to share?
Big thing for me is mental health. If anyone's having issues, dial 988. Get the help that you need. This nation is having a huge mental health crisis where there's not enough providers. And we need to have within the government, need a bill that will help push people like we did with STEM, push them for mental health occupations, be it doctors, nurses, patient techs, the whole gamut. We need to get a hold of our mental health crisis that's going on right now. And a huge one for me, and I have put out Facebook Reels on it, is 22 a day for our veterans. That is fully 19% of the suicides in the nation are veterans. It is because of PTSD, anxiety, substance abuse, and they have to get help. If you are suffering from that, please get the help you need. I had really bad PTSD when I got out of the Marines. I am thankful for the mental health help that I got from the VA. Made me the person I am today, and it has kept me here. Realizing that life is worth it. Life is beautiful. And that was before I had my kids. And thank goodness that I stayed, because I wouldn't have my kids, and I wouldn't have the driving force in my life. Biggest thing for me also is making this world a better place for my children. That is what all of our jobs as parents should be, is leaving a better world than what we had. That's why I went into the Marines. That's why I went to college, to have a better life for my children and help them realize you can be better than what you're born into.
Yeah, the birth of my son changed the way I look at everything and what I put out into the world. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
Totally get that. So the final thing I want to give you an opportunity to do is I'm going to sit back and relax on this couch, but I want you to kind of look at the camera and make your appeal to anyone watching this on why they should be considering you, in a couple weeks when early voting starts for the primary, and then also for the general election. So this is your platform now. So do your thing and say as much as you want. Make sure you tell people how to reach you as well.
Hello, I'm Derrick Holder, and I'm running to be your congressman for Indiana's 4th Congressional District. I am a retired Marine. I am a parent and a former teacher. I'm a current paralegal in child welfare. I have spent my entire life fighting for the rights of other people, and I want to fight for your rights. I want to fight for your right to choose as a woman, as LGBTQIA, as African American, as AAPI, as anyone on the fringes of society. I want to fight for you. I want to fight for the farmers. I want to fight for the nurses. I want to fight for the policemen and the teachers. I want to represent you in Congress because I'm like you. I don't make an exorbitant amount of money. I'm running this campaign on $200 right now, and I'm showing that it can be done, that the average person can achieve anything that they put their minds to. Please reach out to me at derrickholder.com. It has all my socials on there. Volunteer, and please, please vote. Have a great day.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming to Greencastle for this.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Anytime you're around, let me know.
Okay, will do.
Happy to take you out somewhere to eat or show you the nature park.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.